What is happening guys, GT5K101 here and welcome to my review, or preview actually, for the 2014 Russian Grand Prix at the Autodrome, sort of Russian accent, in Sochi. Now this is Russia's first ever Grand Prix and in Sochi, and it's actually based around the Olympic Park, which was the host of the 2014 Winter Olympics in February. Now, this is in fact the world's first Formula One track based in an Olympic park. So it is rather special in Formula One, but obviously it has been rather overshadowed by Bianchi's crash last weekend, and yeah, we all hope that he will hopefully make a good recovery. Unfortunately, his injuries are quite severe. If you want to look at the Marrusia statement, I'll put a link down in the description, or you can check out my Japanese review video where I left a description on that, but I might as well put another link to it on this one as well. So yeah, by the way, the gameplay that you're watching right now is actually, because F1 2013 didn't have the Russian track on it, and I don't have R-Factor on my PC, so you couldn't get any mods or anything. Plus my PC is quite bad for recording PC gameplay because, well, it's sort of a budget gaming PC. You only spent 250 quid on it. If you guys want to check out the parts, they're on my GT's update video from October, well, which was actually last week. I uploaded it, and I'll put a link down in the description for that video if you guys want to check that out. And yeah, so Russia's first race ever, and the track actually, well, one thing I noticed about it is that not a lot of elevation changes. It's not obviously like Belgium. It's not like, because, well, this is a Hermantilke style track. This is a track designed by probably one of Formula One's most renowned architects, most renowned track designers, Hermantilke. He designed this track alongside many others, including India and Korea. Pretty much most of the modern F1 tracks that we race on today, well, not we as in, well, you know what I mean. What the drivers drive on is pretty much designed by Herman himself, and because of its location in Sochi, there's not a lot of elevation changes. Which is a bit of a shame, because then it'll be quite interesting to see the cars go through it. It'll look better. The drivers will actually find it more fun to drive on instead of just a flat surface. Sort of similar to Silverstone actually. Silverstone didn't really have much of elevation changes. Obviously not the same as India or America. That's stupendously steep turn 1. And obviously not the same as Belgium with Eau Rouge and all kinds of corners. So yeah, I thought to myself, it looks rather boring. Here's a picture of it just now. Yeah, it does look pretty boring if I'm honest. But it's starting to grow on me. It's sort of like Singapore, Abu Dhabi, sort of those kind of tracks. It's quite fast sweeping, and it's predicted that possibly the Red Bulls and the Mercedes could find it pretty good here, because of what happened to the Renault. They actually had to, pretty much all of the Renault powered cars run with low downforce than what is they supposed to, and especially in higher downforce tracks, because, well, the engines aren't well, not really reliable, but they're not as powerful. They're not really as quick as the Mercedes powered cars, so they had to turn down the top downforce, which I feel in this track is needed, particularly in the first sector with that, well, I think the first sector. Now we got the bloody track map on here, so yeah, it's gonna be an interesting race. And actually, when we talk about the first sector, anyway, so let me just go over some F1 news regarding Sebastian Vettel, and this is according to, well, on the Forbes.com website, and it's actually from the Daily Mail, not really reliable source of information from them, but anyway, according to the Daily Mail, the value of Vettel's 3-year contract, well, according if he moves to Sebastian Vettel, no, if what the hell am I talking about? If he moves to Ferrari, he could become the highest salaried athlete ever in the world. $80 million. That's his expected salary of Ferrari, according to the Daily Mail, which once again I should clarify isn't necessarily a brilliant source of reliable information. £80 million. That is more than Ronaldo, more than Lionel Messi, more than Gareth Bale. That is stupendous amount of money, and to be honest, he doesn't deserve it. He does not deserve it. Sebastian Vettel, yes, he is. The only reason of Ferrari, but in fact, just to let you guys know, at the time I'm making this video, Ferrari hasn't released anything in regards to their drivers for next season. Sebastian Vettel hasn't been confirmed to Ferrari, although he does say himself that Ferrari did sign him, or he wants to move to Ferrari, or he has moved to Ferrari, but Ferrari hasn't said it. But Red Bull has confirmed that Sebastian Vettel has terminated his contract for the next season. He will finish this last season in Red Bull. We don't know if he'll join back, possibly not, because Red Bull have got the idea of recruiting the young drivers from the young driver program who graduated basically from GP2, GP3, Formula Renault, and then on to the Toro Rosso, and then to Red Bull. Basically the same as Sebastian Vettel himself, Daniel Ricciardo, and now Daniel Kvyat, who is replacing Vettel at Red Bull next season. And I'll just laugh so much if Ferrari says, okay, today we've just announced that we'll be signing Jenson Button and we'll be keeping Kimi Räikkönen, and then Sebastian Vettel will be like, oh no, what have I done? And then Red Bull say, no, you can't come back. Oh, Vettel should be careful about what he says. Anyway, Sebastian bought £80 million. He doesn't deserve it, honestly. The only reason why he's worth £80 million is because his car. I mean, you clearly see this year that okay, his car isn't great compared to the Mercedes. This car was absolutely terrible. They probably had the worst pre-season testing of their history, possibly one of the hardest pre-season testings of Red Bull's history. And he says himself, well, no, he says, but a lot of people are saying that it's because he's rubbish this year because of his car. Now, if you compare that to Daniel Ricciardo. Now, this is his first season at Red Bull. Compared to the Toro Rosso, a lot more high downforce, it's a lot more not really sophisticated, but you know what I mean. It's a much better car all round, better team, and he's outperforming Vettel. I mean, he's third in the championship right now. Just check. He's third in the championship right now, and Sebastian Vettel, I believe, is fifth. And I shall just check that up on you now. No, fourth actually. Sebastian Vettel is fourth. He is nearly 60 points behind Daniel Ricciardo, so he does have the chance to clinch third place, but I don't know. Well, it's going to be an interesting race, and Sebastian Vettel does normally enjoy the Singapore style tracks. Like, it's quite wide, like Russia is quite wide, it's quite sweeping, it's quite fast. And Sebastian Vettel does love those kind of tracks, particularly like the last race, Suzuka, and Singapore, etc. etc. Mercedes is expected to win the World Constructors Championship this weekend. This will be the first time since their return. Well, if you technically include Braun, which technically was Mercedes. Well, actually, in the Mercedes name, it is the first time in their new modern history that they win the constructors, and that would be a massive achievement. They thoroughly deserved it. People say that's because of Lewis Hamilton joining them, that they felt under pressure in 2013. They had to make a car that was good for him. His first test session, he crashed, didn't look good, and then he won a couple of races last year, but it was a much stronger car than McLaren. I mean, McLaren has just gone downhill. I mean, Jenson Button right now is 82 points. He is around about 6 points ahead of Nico Hülkenberg in the first India is sitting 8th, but quite far away from Valtteri Bottas. I'm trying to do this in my head. Yeah, he's around about 48 points. Yeah, 48 points behind Valtteri Bottas, who sits 8th. And it actually is quite tight in the 4th, 5th, and 6th. Sebastian Vettel and Red Bull with 139 points. Fernando Alonso to leave Ferrari at the end of the season, possibly. For McLaren is 133 points, and Valtteri Bottas is 130, so it's very close between, well, basically the top 6 drivers apart, really. Well, obviously it's quite a big gap between, well, not really big, actually, yeah, it's going to be really close. It's going to be a really close battle for the end of the season, and then as it goes towards the end of the season. And of course, as one driver is under pressure this weekend to perform, it is of course Russia's home man Daniil Kvyat. His first season in Formula 1, he's getting graduated to the Red Bull team for next season, and he has got so much pressure on him. So much pressure. This is his first season, and actually so far this season he has proved that he does deserve the Red Bull seat, although I do think that possibly another year Jean-Eric Vergne deserves it more than him because he might have more experience. He's got more points than Daniil Kvyat. Okay, he's got 21. Daniil Kvyat is 15th with 8. So it's not really that. Well, it's not really that far ahead, but you know, Vergne is a more well, obviously older. Not really, well, yeah, it's older driver. He's more mature. Well, yeah, mature, and he's got more experience under his belt, which could be pretty, which could play quite handy. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens next season, and indeed this weekend, and some history will come this weekend as well. If Ferrari wins this season, if a Ferrari-powered car wins the race this weekend, it will be the first Ferrari turbo win since the 1988 Italian Grand Prix. Now, of course, 1988 was the last season in which we've seen the turbos, the V10 turbos, stupendously crazy 1200 brake horsepower engines, and yeah, it's gonna be an interesting weekend for them. Ferrari isn't really doing good so far. You know, of course, Fernando Alonso retired and has complete electrical failure in his car after the safety car restart in lap 4 last weekend. So it's not looking good for Ferrari, but you never know in Formula 1. Formula 1 is a lot more unpredictable than before. And also, Mercedes is looking to break McLaren's 1988 record of 10 1-2 finishes in a season. So they've currently got 8 1-2s this season, and they're looking to they need at least 3 to beat McLaren's record. So you never know. Hopefully they'll do it because they really deserve it. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it, guys. I was going on a bit, but you know what I'm like. So anyway, guys, that's the end of this video. The link in the description below for my Twitter, all the front racing links, and also for the Marrusia statement from the family if you haven't seen it, and also the link to my GT's update October 2014 video in which you can check out my PC specs. So that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. This has been GT5K 101, and I shall see you later.